Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Okay. Hope you guys are doing well. I just watched a top 10 most poisonous plants in Britain. And I saw this as a recommended on that video, and it's Tom Scott. I feel like watching it. All right, so that's why we're here. Original link to the video, top of the description. Below that, link to the Discord. Love to have you. Let's go.
And I tell stories. But occasionally I go somewhere and find not just stories. Sometimes I go to a place and I tell stories. But occasionally I go somewhere and find not just stories, but a really good storyteller. In the grounds of Alnwick Castle in the north of England is Alnwick Garden. It's not quite as old as the castle. That's been here about 900 years or so. England is Alnwick Garden. It's not
very nice grass. Could use a little water right there.
Quite as old as the castle. That's been here about 900 years or so, but it is just as impressive. Inside is one of the world's largest wooden tree houses, beautiful water features, and also this, the slightly less conventional Alnwick Poison Garden.
Welcome to the Poison Garden. All the plants in here have the ability to kill you, so you're not allowed to touch or smell or stand too close to them. This is Ricinus communis, and you can see that it has very architectural leaves. But the issue with it is that you can, under laboratory environments, take out ricin. Ricin's the deadliest poison known to man. Here we have a Belladonna.
Sorry, but he said don't touch, don't smell. So smelling some of these plants can harm you.
Deadly nightshade, and ricin's the deadliest poison known to man. Here we have a Belladonna, deadly nightshade, a native plant to the UK.
This one was in that other video.
Flowers that you can see here will produce a black grape-like berry. 4 of those berries are enough to kill a child. Very toxic indeed. In Italy, especially around Venice, the ladies used to squeeze the berries to get the juice, and then use the juice to put in their eyes to dilate their pupils to make them look more attractive to gentlemen.
That was also in the other video, so that definitely was real. Jesus Christ. Foot binding. Poisonous leaf squirt eye drops. Corsets. Fun.
Because it's toxic, slowly you start to lose your vision. What you do for vanity.
Yeah, but you look good.
Again, a very common plant that you can actually buy from garden centres, yet it is phototoxic, which means that if you get the sap onto your hands, then in bright sunlight your skin will start to blister. Once that chemical is in your system, it will stay in that system for up to 7 years. Now, we had a senior gardener who came into the poison garden and happened to see a weed growing out of this plant, so without putting her gloves on, she took the weed out. Within an hour, she started to form blisters on her hand, and she ended up with 3rd-degree burns. This plant is called Aconitum
3rd-degree burns. That's the worst kind, right?
Nepalis. And she ended up with 3rd-degree burns. This plant is called Aconitum nepalis. It's very common. It's often called monkshood. The whole of the plant is very toxic. 2 years ago, there was a head gardener down in Surrey who unfortunately was working with this plant, and he died a few days later, and they put that down to the toxins from the plant. Here we have a very common plant again. This is laurel, used often as...
Isn't cyanide also a naturally occurring thing? Like, cyanide wasn't this poison created by people. It's in nature. I think millipedes make it. But good.
Hedging toxins from the plant. Here we have a very common plant again. This is laurel, used often as hedging. The issue with laurel is that it will produce cyanide. And in fact, Victorians as hedging. The issue with laurel is that it will produce cyanide. And in fact, Victorians used to use leaves.
I love when my questions get answered very quickly.
The issue with laurel is that it will produce cyanide. And in fact, Victorians used to use leaves of these plants, cut in two, popped in a jam jar with the butterflies that they'd captured, screw on the lid, and the butterfly would die naturally because of the cyanide poisoning. Now, this plant you can buy.
For what? What reason? Just collecting butterflies?
From garden centres, very common pot plant. It's called brugmansia, and the whole of the plant is toxic. It's often called the angel's trumpet. It's a hallucinogenic plant, so you can use it in all sorts of ways. And in fact, Victorian ladies would grow the brugmansia on their tea tables and then invite the ladies around for afternoon tea. What they would then do is, in the teapot, shake some of the pollen, which would go into the tea, and then the ladies would start to loosen their tongue slightly and talk about all sorts of nonsense. We have a license from the Home Office to grow cannabis. So we have it here in a cage. Obviously, it's a Class C drug. We
Please keep off the grass. Nice.
use to grow cannabis. So we have it here
Is
in a
it
cage.
still illegal over there? Completely legal over here. Like I did just write down like buying beer. Just
Sorts of nonsense. We have a license from the Home Office to grow cannabis. So we have it here in a cage. Obviously, it's a Class C drug. We use this plant to start to introduce to children all about the harmful effects of drugs. This is henbane. It produces very peculiar flowers that give off a very pungent scent. The scent is so strong that often here we get people collapsing. That's why we've got the bench next to the wall. Mandragona, or mandrake, as it's commonly
Mandragora. I can't believe all of these things that I thought were fictional Harry Potter potion ingredients are real things. But back to the weed plants. I remember one time trying to, like, sometimes when you get it, like, there's a seed in there. And I think it's the darker seeds that are, like, the ones more likely to go. And one time I was with my friends in high school, and we were at this park doing this, and I was just messing around like while we were doing that, and like I had a few seeds, like 4 of them, and just mindlessly I just like scraped. I got a stick, I just like scraped a line in the dirt, like not really thinking about it, and then just like tossing all the lines in, tossing the seeds in and covering it, and then continuing it and not thinking about it. Come back later, like a month later, to do the same thing, and there are like four of these things, maybe not quite that high, but like this, maybe. Hilarious.
collapsing. That's what.
And then we came back a different time, and they were gone, which means someone got excited and took.
We've got the scent is so strong that often here we get people collapsing. That's why we've got the bench next to the wall. Mandragona, or mandrake as it's commonly known. Very popular plant now because of the Harry Potter phenomena. The whole of the plant is poisonous. Historically, people used to think that there was a live little man underneath the plant, because if you dug the plant up, the actual tap root would often have 2 little legs and a little arm, and so people imagined that it was the devil himself. Often people said they could hear the plant screaming as it was pulled up.
Harry Potter.
And so a lot of myth and legend grew up around the mandrake. The Duchess of Northumberland is the inspiration of the whole of this garden. When she became Duchess, she had a vision to create a modern, contemporary garden that would educate visitors. So the Duchess then realised children especially don't want to listen to talks on herb gardens because they switch off. If you can tell them that the plants are actually poisonous and have the ability to kill you, then you have the imagination of that child.
Thank you very much to all the team at Alnwick Garden, and to Trevor in particular. If you want to know more about the gardens or the castle, pull down the description.
Cool.
If you want to know
For a split second, I thought that was Dan Snow's voice, Tom Scott.
Thank you very much to all,
like a second.
All the team at Alnwick Garden, and to Trevor in particular. If you want to know more about the gardens or the castle, pull down the description.
Really great video. I almost psyched myself out there for a second because I'm like, oh my God, don't touch your eyes. But I'm not there. Schizophrenia. Love you all. Hope you guys are doing well. Would appreciate any and all comments. Check out Tom Scott's channel if you haven't. Very popular channel. Frequently uploaded. I'm sure you know who he is. So I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.